Hi, everyone. This is Rochelle Rizzi. I'm here today with Meg Barnhart, founder and co-creator of Zen of Slow Cooking. She's really speaking to my heart, not only as a foodie, but a very, very busy mom. And I can't wait for her to tell you about her origin story. Hi, Meg. Welcome.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic here in Tampa, Florida today. And you are where?
I'm in Lake Forest, just north of Chicago. Lots of snow. So hopefully you can see maybe a little snow out of my window there.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes. I just left that from mid-Michigan. So I got here just in time.
Yeah.
So Meg, talk to me about how your business started. I'm so excited to share this story.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting story. So I grew up in a home. We had wonderful family dinners, and we sat around the table every night. And so when I was a young mother, I thought, well, I'll just, sort of recreate that experience. It didn't work out that way for me. My children were very close in age. My two boys were very busy. My poor daughter got lost in the shuffle. And I just found myself struggling every night, trying to get food on the table. And one of the other things that was complicated about my life is my middle son had a really complex speech and language disorder. He didn't have functional language, so he was 4, so that added another layer of complexity into my parenting story. My husband was traveling quite a bit. So I called my best friend one night, who's a teacher, and she's a single mom. And I said, what do I do? I said, I'm just failing. I'm going down the drain. She said, no, you're not. She said, here you go. You're not a failure. You just have a tough parenting deal. She's like, get off the phone. You're way too accessible, and go buy a crock pot. So that started my slow cooking journey. And I didn't know what she meant by I didn't grow up with a crock pot, so I didn't really understand how it worked. But you always do what your best friend tells you to do. So I went out and bought one the next day and began my slow cooking journey. And I bought 3 cookbooks. One was, a gourmet slow cooker book. And I realized that that's not what I needed. So I went and got another one, 5 ingredients in 5 minutes. And I started this slow cooking journey. It became a time for meditation. I really started to look forward to that 20 minutes of prep every morning. And then I loved how the aroma filled the house. When my kids came home from school, we all slowed down. I threw on my blue jeans. We went out walking. And it just really brought the family together. It took a while to get everyone settled to a family dinner routine, but I was able to do it. I had the table preset because I had to be, with these boys really, really fast. But anyway, I just loved it. And then 2 years into it, my daughter started crying, saying she couldn't eat any more thick meat because I only knew how to make 3 things in my slow cooker. And I wasn't ready to give it up because I saw that there was something really good about this tool, but I also recognized what she meant is that I wasn't really making a variety of food. So I went and picked out my favorite cookbook, Silver Palette, and I started playing around. I understood the science and technology about what kind of meats to put in, what kind of proteins, what kind of spices, what kind of liquid. And my food got really good. And I kept telling my girlfriends, I kind of figured this out. I'm telling you, I know this is what you need to do. And they all said the same thing, like my kids won't eat food that touches each other or whatever, whatever it was. And I kind of went along my merry way doing this. And then in 2010, going back to Doug, I spent a year studying what life would look like for him. I wasn't quite sure where he was going to be as an adult. And I started looking what happens if you have language disorders or learning challenge, what does life look like for you as an adult? And I found so little consciously created employment. I decided to create a business for him. And that goes sort of my true north story. I was sitting with a friend one day and I said, I know this is what I'm meant to do with my life, is to use my passion for advocacy. Because, I had spent the last 10 years of my life at that point raising money and doing advocacy for children with learning disabilities and special needs. And I said, I know I'm supposed to do something with this child and this life, but I don't know what it is. And she said, what are you having fun doing? And I laughed. I said, well, I'm kind of having fun with this whole slow cooking thing. It's become my meditation vehicle. She goes, I have no idea what you're talking about, but do that. And that's what led to the Zen of Slow Cooking. So we started really about bringing my business partner, Jane McKay. I was really lucky to find a wonderful foodie partner. I needed a foodie partner. So she joined me on the journey. And in 2012, we just started a food blog to bring people together over the shared meal with little Zen inspiration, slow cooking recipes, and spent a whole year just signing people up for our blog. And then using our most popular recipes, because we really wanted to create a product. We didn't know what it was. As my kids all say now, it's really cool, Mom, you created a community. So we really started with a community and a mission, and then backed into the product. So we went and we created a line of spice blends. We started with 3 in the farmers markets. And we just kept building from there. We were across from a bison purveyor, and that led to, I'll show you the packet that led to my little, one of our little spice blends. People would buy their bison and they would come over and they go, what do I do with it? And we, created a blend for him. So that was 2013 and 2014. We started partnering with a social enterprise to provide employment for adults with disabilities. And today we use our site to raise money for different charities that we're really connected to. We are a certified B Corp, part of the conscious capitalism movement, and also a certified woman-owned business. So
that's amazing.
It in a nutshell.
How old is your son now?
He is 25.
Okay. And so how is he still engaged with the business?
Well, actually, he's working. He's doing great. He's working in the hospitality business, which is great now. But all our kids they all are out, either they packed up the car with blends at the farmers markets, or my oldest one did a video on Get Your Zen On, or my little one cut ribbons for, a whole year. They've all done different things in the business. So he's, now he's at home and he's been helping, he'll help, run spices down to our fulfillment house, things like that.
That's really great. It's neat that the kids get to see that and really respect all the little nuances that go into running a business.
Yeah.
I have my kids just recently pack all the client gifts. So that was fun for them. So talk to us about when you started to really distribute, what kind of things did you have to learn? You had to learn packaging, supply chain, distribution, sales. Like, what happened? What was kind of the big turning point for you to really grow this beyond your local?
Yeah, the farmers markets, it's such a great story. That could be a whole podcast in itself, the lessons we've learned, about scaling a business. But so we interviewed with Whole Foods in 2016. They have foragers that go out and look for unique products, and loved it. But they said, you have to really change your packaging. They were great. Our forager, I sent her packaging designs, and then she would say, this is a good one. They were great. So that's kind of what started. That was really helpful. We had a wonderful designer who helped do it for us as well. So that was 2016. And we just started with 3 Whole Food stores, and we did a lot of demos and built the brand. And then when they saw more sales there, and we self-distributed, we pack them in the boxes. I'd go to the grocery, the back of the, I'd go in the loading truck and load up our little boxes, do a demo. And that's kind of what we did for about a year. And then we kind of kept growing and growing. And then in 2018, Walmart found us at Whole Foods and asked us to be part of their Fresh Reset. And that was, we were really, going to distribution is a huge challenge. And we had some hiccups with another distributor who had wanted to bring us on and build it. So that piece is, was a huge challenge for us, because, we learned, let's say your product's, $3, 30% goes off to, the distributor, then the store gets their markup, the actual cost of the product, and then you're really left with such a small margin. So you have to do that super carefully. And when you go into distribution, you need to have the supply chain intact. And that actually led to us needing to have sort of 2 fulfillment warehouses, one that does all of our e-commerce, small batch, smaller stores, and then a whole different food grade warehouse that does all the, the larger POs. And that was really complicated moving to ramping up our supply chain, and still is, because there's also a huge amount of money that goes in. It sounds so great when you say you're growing, but there's all that money that costs to do the product. And if you don't get the sales, you're kind of left with a lot of inventory that you don't know what to do with.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway.
I can imagine.
More detailed questions because it was complicated.
Well, yeah, I can only imagine just having done different things on much smaller scales for clients. What about how many products do you have? How many different blends?
We have 9 blends. We have 3 that are whole spice infusions. They're small batch hand blended. I'll show you what that looks like. They're like in these little black pouches. We only sell these on our website, and we sell them at specialty food stores. They're whole spices in a bouquet garni, and they just sit in infused over a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have mulling spices we do seasonally. And then the rest we have ground blends, 6 ground blends that we sell in regular retail, different, larger retail stores.
Do you find that there's any specific influence, like any special cuisine, or do you try to touch on all of them, or can you use these spice blends in various different recipes?
Thank you for asking. That's a great question. One of our missions is to actually bring people together over the shared meal. So we designed our blends. They're globally inspired. So we want everyone to find something that fits their palate. We want people to be able to use them if they're, doing more plant-based eating, if they're doing a keto diet, if they're actively really looking at trying to reduce their calorie intake. I mean, so for, if you take this is one of our most popular Southwest Fiesta blend, there's no salt in our blends with exception of 2, a little bit of salt. So we're really about spice forward, not a seasoning packet, which makes us different in the market. Most seasoning packets are salt forward. We're just the opposite. But we have a signature recipe, but if you go on the bottom, we have multiple recipes online available for you. So if you love this flavor, you could take this chicken tortilla soup and it could become a squash and black bean, Buddha bowl. It can become a taco chili, so it's really about taking the flavor and then, changing up your liquids, your proteins, your vegetables to transform that into something completely different.
Yeah, infinite possibilities.
Yeah, exactly.
So you said the recipes are online. Do you also have a cookbook, or is that anything that you're working on?
Honestly, that's such a funny question. That was sort of my initial dream, was to create a cookbook. And then I remember when I kind of had this the blog is basically loosed on the concept around the cookbook, because we offer a little Zen inspiration and recipes every month and things like that. But I learned, it was so funny. I didn't even have a Facebook page, and the literary editor said, "I love what you're doing. You've got such a cool concept, but you just don't have any social media following." So I was like, "Oh, right." So I at some point that would be a dream for us to do that. That would be, is we have a whole concept just waiting to publish something. But yeah.
Well, did you see an uptick of sales because more people are at home during COVID, or any change because of what happened in the last year?
Oh, our business has been, completely transformed. We have been working for 8 years to get people to slow down, connect over the shared meal, really, use our spices as a foundation. Even if it's one day a week on your Sunday where you just want to slow down and really just take a long walk and, and just really enjoy a great meal when you come home. And people loved it, but they weren't doing it with a lot of frequency. And then all of a sudden, March happened and everyone's cooking and everyone's at home and everyone's learning how to chop their vegetables. And our, online business, went up 400%. I mean, all of a sudden everyone's just, and spices are hot, everyone, what was center aisle store, which wasn't exciting. Now it's really exciting. So yeah, it's really transformed us. And then I think now, I don't know if you're feeling that as well in what you do, but people are really looking to buy products that are really committed to more of a value-based structure. As we're a certified B Corp, B Corps are about 3,000 of us in the world. It was started by Patagonia and Eileen Fisher and Ben and Jerry, saying, we can do more as a society, and we're committed to the environment. We're committed to transparent hiring practices. So people are looking for companies like that. We're a certified woman-owned business. How can I help another small business, grow? So our spices do more than just provide that flavor foundation. And I think people want to see that in the products they're purchasing.
Yeah.
So it's been
interesting. Absolutely agree. Yeah, it does tell more of the brand story, and people want to be a part of something, be a part of a movement.
Yeah, they really do. They really do.
So what's next for you? What's your dream?
So our dream is to have one of our spice packets in everyone's pantry, and just become a pantry staple and give people a chance to just slow down one day a week. It could be your busy Thursday with e-learning and working and long meetings, or it could be a Saturday or Sunday. So that's really what our goal is right now. It's just really, as a small business, it's hard to build a brand and cut through the noise, whether it's in the store or online. So our hope is that we just continue to do what we're doing and get more people to connect.
And that's really good advice. My last question for you is going to be, do you have any advice for other entrepreneurs as they try to scale their business, or just get through, right? Because you also have experience in the hospitality industry,
Yes.
which has been hit hard, which was one of the reasons I started this docuseries, because I also come from the hospitality industry and have so many restaurant friends. Can you talk a little bit about that? Not to get us off topic, but just what resonates with you with people in that industry? What advice would you have for them?
The hospitality or the restaurant industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, both of my boys are in that space, and it's been really challenging. And one of our personal, as a family, we've been trying to support 2 local restaurants a week, and do as much as we can do to help people get through this time period. It's been interesting to see how the restaurants have really transformed themselves. With a lot of curbside pickup, take home meal kits. I know there's a lot of innovation happening, and then within that, there's just a lot of challenges. So yeah, I think more than anything, it's just demonstrated how we all need to just take a moment and try to help our neighbor, our local pizza shop, or, I think that's been, yeah, interesting. And then just in terms of advice for entrepreneurs, one of the things I've really, really practiced and learned over my life, and especially over the last few years when we've had challenges, is instead of, I really work hard to resist the impulse to push through. That would be my natural impulse, was just push through, push it aside. And what I do now is I really sit and get curious. Why am I feeling like this? What are the market conditions that are, what am I looking, seeing and not, and so I really tell people, just instead of pushing through, resist, take a day, just sit with it. And it's really interesting to see how, through that practice, how you'll get so much more clarity about what path, because sometimes you're going down the wrong path. And if you just take a moment, you might see a shortcut that you just didn't see because you were so focused on that one path. And I think that that's kind of one of the things that we've all learned in the last 10 months is we're all, am I on the right path? Is there a different path for us? So I think that that's my biggest advice to people, to do that and sort of sit with the why you want to create what you want to create.
That's great advice. And it comes down to giving yourself some time, gives you that Zen feeling and the self-care that if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else, which for me, when it comes to cooking and feeding people and, being a mother and an entrepreneur, it is one of the biggest tasks of my day to make sure that all 4 children are fed. And that's just one piece of it, right? You give so much of yourself to your team, to your clients, to your children, to your spouse. And if you can take that little time out just to reset and get that Zen, then, that's everything. So Meg, thank you so much for joining me today. And I can't wait to try your products.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for shining a light on our work. And I love the work you're doing. And, hashtag we're all in it together. So thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Have a great day. Bye.